Welcome to another interesting edition of the program Presidency This Week. I am Anibit Akman. This is the program that showcases the weekly activities and the achievements of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the Vice President Kashim Shettima, GCON. Do sit back, relax, and have a refreshing time.
Vice President Kashim Shettima observed that the path chosen by Nigeria in the 21st century can only be determined by the strength of the nation's workforce, the education of its children, and the well-being of communities across the country. He said stakeholders must go beyond plans and policies, underscoring the importance of human capital to the nation's development, pointed out that history will remember that in a defining moment, the government chose to prioritize people over politics, to invest in capacity over convenience, and to build a nation that thrives despite its challenges. The Vice President acknowledged what he described as impactful state-level interventions, outlining them to include the rollout project in Nasarawa State, distributing over 1,000 clean cook stoves to vulnerable households, demonstrating the intersection of human capital development and environmental sustainability.
A nation that aspires to greatness like ours must ground its policies in evidence, not assumptions. We must mobilize resources beyond government funding. Traditional financing models alone will not suffice. The private sector partnership group must take a leadership role in unlocking innovative financing, from impact investments to social impact bonds. Our development partners, corporate leaders, and philanthropic institutions must see human capital development not as a charity, but as an investment in the economic prosperity of our nation.
The committee reviewed 4 prayer points which addressed empowering state focal persons, ensuring regular HCD council meetings, prioritizing key indicators, and commissioning a data collection survey on priority areas.
And here is the spotlight segment of the program where we feature government agencies, professional bodies, and corporate organizations who have been instrumental as to contributing their quota to national development. Happy viewing.
The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, the ICRC, is a government agency responsible for public-private partnership. It was established in 2005 by virtue of the ICRC Act 2005, and the board was inaugurated in 2008. And the Act has very defined, clear mandate for the ICRC, in this case the Commission. First of all, we are to take custody of 4 concession agreements between the private and the public agencies, which we call the MDAs. Also, we are to ensure the efficient execution of the concession agreement with the terms and conditions. We are to ensure compliance with the provisions set out in the ICRC Act 2005. And also, the Act mandates the President to assign to us any other duties that he wants us to perform. And that we've been doing very well. And our vision is very clear. Our vision is to build a credible regulatory institution that will regulate public-private partnerships in Nigeria. And you want to ask me, what's our mission? Our mission is to ensure that we have efficient infrastructure service provision for Nigerians. And that we have been doing through the Establishment Act of 2005. And that we have been doing by coming out with guidelines, coming out with policies, coming out with regulations, and with the cooperation of the presidents and the MDAs and Nigerians, we've been able to carry out our mandate very well. And let me say this, Shegun, I think with the coming in of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have received tremendous support from the presidency in carrying out this act, and this I give credit to him. The ICRC achievement has been very enormous since inauguration of the board in 2008, we've had a lot of achievements in different areas. If I just, due to time, mention a few. We've been able to do some PPP project in the marine sector. We have the Lekki Deep Sea Port that was done. We have the Burutu Port that we've done. FBC has been completed. We have the Ondo Deep Sea Port that we are working on. We have the Snake Island. We have the Onitsha Water Port, Onitsha Water Treatment Plant. We have the call-up system, offshore and onshore water reception facility. In all this under the marine sector. Then in the Ministry of Interior, we have the immigration project. This one includes the e-gates, the contactless visa, contactless passport application. Then we have the domestication of passport production. We have the interior optimization system. Then we have the expatriate resident card. Those are also projects that have been done through PPP over time. Then in the health sector, we have the Garoki Hospital, a model general hospital that was converted through PPP to provide secondary and tertiary healthcare system. Then we have the warehouse in a Boston medical facility. That's a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and the USAID. Of course, we have the one that have gotten the anticipated approval of the president. This was done a couple of months ago. That was the Medipol, where we will have, through PPP, local production of drugs here in our country. Then go to the power sector. We have the Zungeru power plant, we have the Kashimbila, we have the Gurara, we have the Dadinkoa in Gombe State. So I think these are enormous testimony to what we can do in PPP, and these are what ICRC have done. Then in the ICT sector, transport, we have the e-ticketing solution between Abuja and Kaduna. We have the e-ticketing system that was done to PPP in Warri and Itakpe. Then we have the AGMI2. We have the CCH that's ongoing. Then we talk of aviation. Recently, just 2 weeks ago, the president approved the Kashibila Agro Allied Airport and the MRO system. These are some of the things that we've done using PPP. So there are a lot of projects that we're doing and at different stages. Some are at the stage of the outline business case, some are at the stage of the full business case, some are at the stage of fake approval, and some are at the stage of contract signing, and some are already undergoing implementation. And I can tell you this for free, that we've achieved a lot of milestones with the support of all stakeholders. And that is what we're doing. With the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President, I'm telling you, we are more positioned to do more than we've envisaged to do. Since my coming on board, there are things that I looked at. One, I have clear policy direction. And one of the things we decided to do in ICRC under my leadership is to have a very strong interagency collaboration. Because PPP is about collaboration. PPP is a partnership between the private and the public sector. And there are no ways you do it without friction and without people having different form of disagreement. But the beauty is that as ICRC, we act as a mediator, we act as a regulator, we ensure that there is harmonious relationship between these two parties. And that's one of the things I have been strong on since I assumed office, and that's what me and my colleagues in ICRC are working towards. Then, another key important area is the area of optimizing our service delivery. We have put in place many innovative ways to ensure that the service that we deliver to the Commission are optimized to give great value. And we did that by streamlining most of our processes to ensure timely delivery of PPP projects. And that we've been doing. I can tell you within the last 5 to 7 months, we've churned out a lot of projects. And like I said, we have the buy-in and we have the support of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that we have been doing. And you can see fake approval under him have been given express consideration, and that we thank him for gracing us with that. Another area I think we're very strong on is your strategic partnership. We've gone into partnership with a lot of MDAs, partnering with Minister of Power, partnering with Minister of Interior, partnering with NICOM, partnering with a lot of these agencies that will work together with the World Bank, with the IFC, to ensure that we build a complete ecosystem that will allow PPPs to thrive in Nigeria. Then, like the charge that Mr. President gave to me and my appointment is that I should look for innovative ways to attract private sector financing to fund infrastructure. And that we've been doing. I mean, I'll be a guest speaker at the Stanbic Infrastructure Week next week, where I'm going to see how we can harness private sector to come in and help finance some of this gap that have been identified in our infrastructure terrain. So that we are doing. Then one other thing we have done is to categorize our projects. We have to calculate into the low-hanging fruit, which we call the quick wins, the medium-term plans, and the long-term plan. And that we are doing very well. Like I said, the Kashimila Agro Allied Airport was categorized as a quick win for us because, if you remember, when the Kashimila Dam was built, there were 3,000 hectares of fallow land that can be used for agriculture. And it is that, and the airstrip that was built there then, during the construction of the dam, was being upgraded to a standard full airport. So what we are now doing is that we are taking advantage of the irrigation facility of the dam, of the 3,000 hectares of fallow land, the airstrip that is built, to create an ecosystem whereby you have an integrated cargo and agro airport, wherein agricultural products from Kashimbila can be exported to out of the country and to other parts of Nigeria. So this is one thing we are doing. And in all this, I've been saying, Shegun, I lead from the front. Don't delegate, I show by example. Because that is the example that Mr. President wants us to follow. We should lead all this by example. And what we've been doing here is leadership by example. And one of the things I've done is that we need to build the capacity to be able to achieve this. As they say, the speed of the team is the speed of the leader. So in doing that, I have ensured that since I assumed office, for the past 6 months, every day we have a learning session from 8:15 for 1 hour, 2 hours every day. And that has been able, one, to rekindle the confidence of staff in the PPP, rekindle the knowledge that we have, and also bring back the hope. As the President says, to renew, bring back the hope of everybody in the capacity and ability of what we can achieve as a nation through public-private partnership. And as it states, PPP stands for Public-Private Partnership. The public sector, in this case the MDA, when I mean the MDA, I mean ministry, departments, and agencies, coming together in a partnership through an agreement with the private sector to deliver a service, in this case, infrastructure. And in most of these instances, we have to identify the project, there have to be risk sharing, there have to be, private sector, we have to inject their fund, and there must be service delivery with clear deliverables and output specifications. That is what PPP, in a nutshell, stands for. And to give an example of what PPP can do for our country, I would like to use one of our favorite and flagship transaction, which is the Lekki Deep Sea Port. The Lekki Deep Sea Port is a greenfield project. And when I say greenfield, because of emphasis, in PPPs, we have the brownfield and the greenfield. When we say the brownfield, we mean existing government assets or government infrastructure. And we say greenfield, that means something that is new, that we started newly. And in this case, the Lekki Deep Sea Port is a project that was started newly in Lagos, wherein the private sector has come together to build a deep sea port. And they have invested about $1.5 billion of investment in the phase 1 of it. It's a project that will generate about $201 billion in revenue for the 45 years concession period of the project. It's going to create about 167,000 jobs within this period. And it will have in total about $360 billion impact. That's of direct and indirect jobs. So, and let me put it in a nutshell, Shegun. What this tells you is that Nigeria today doesn't have a deep sea port. The private sector has come with its own investment to build a deep sea port. Of course, it's concession under a BOOT. So that means build, own, operate, and transfer. What that means is that it's building it, going to own it for the concession period, is operating it now, it will transfer it back to Nigerians. What that means, without a penny, in 45 years, Nigeria will own a deep sea port. And not just that, along the 45 years, there will be share of revenue. The share of revenue that comes to the project will be shared at the agreed negotiated terms between the company, private party, and government. So government will make money from year one for the 45-year period of the project. And after that again, the project asset will revert back to government. What does that tell you? Without a penny, we are going to own a deep sea port, which is the deepest and largest deep sea port in West Africa, and the only deep sea port in Nigeria, without no money of government. And you calculate the revenue that government will make with the period under operation, it's huge. So that is the impact that PPPs can inject into the economy. So we're complaining that there's lack of treasury funds to carry out most of our infrastructure projects. The only alternative and the only place we can shift to right now is PPP. And the private sectors are willing, I'm talking to them, they are willing, giving the assurance to come in once we create the enabling environment. And what this government is doing is creating the needed, necessary environment for private sector business to thrive. And they are doing that through this enormous support of Mr. President for PPPs. But when it comes to PPP, he's the champion of it. He's done it before, and he's doing it again here in Nigeria. So we are saying that we have all what it takes as a country to excel. We have the capacity to turn around the infrastructure story of this country by mobilizing private sector finance to fund our infrastructure. And this we are doing very well in partnership with the private sector, the ICRC. Now, I've finished talking about the greenfield, an example of a greenfield project. Now, let's talk about a brownfield. And I would just like to pick one of our known brownfield projects that was done through PPP. And the one here I'm talking about is the Gariki General Hospital. This was a general hospital that was concession in 2006 to Nisa Premier Hospital. It's just like any other general hospital like Asokoro, Maitama, or Wuse, but as a pilot case, the Gariki General Hospital was picked. And Nisa Premier Hospital won the concession in 2006. And with that, you can go and visit the hospital as what it is now. Gariki Hospital today has gone beyond primary services. They now do secondary and tertiary services. The turnaround is there. Now, what has that done? The money that would have been used to keep the hospital running have now been channeled into other area of services by the government. Today, the facilities in the hospital have been upgraded. Doctors have been recruited. Today, the FCT administration make money from the running of Gariki Hospital, and the citizens have better healthcare provision. For example, they have a scheme where indigent patients from FCT are treated for free. So these are the beauties and successes of PPP. Now let me talk about the one that's ongoing now. That is the Highway Development Management Initiative, which we call the AGMI. This is attracting an investment of about 1.1 trillion naira. It's about 1,300 kilometers of road. And it's about 12 corridors, but 9 are presently operational. So what does this do? It's to complete most of these roads, toll them, and certain amount from the collections from the toll is kept aside for the maintenance of this road. As you know, Shegun, the problem we have most times in this country is not even to build this infrastructure. We build them, but the biggest challenge is maintaining and keeping them to standard. Where in most times there are not adequate funding from the budget to keep them running. And before you know, they dilapidate, and before you know, we are back to where we started from. So in the wisdom of government, through PPP arrangement, they are saying that through this road, a certain amount of money will be used by the private sector to maintain the road over the concession period. So with this, the government will not have a budget for maintenance of this road. That means the private sector needs to make the road functional for ease of traffic, for them to recoup their investment. That means Nigerians will have better services being rendered through this concession. And that means we can move agricultural products from one end of the country to the other. Goods and services can be transported from one end of the Nigeria to another. For example, from the east, from the north to the west, with ease. And the government is not stopping there. This is just the first phase of the HDMI project. The HDMI 2 is coming. So there are a lot of initiatives that we are doing to see that private sector funding is being used to provide service delivery for Nigerians. And that is one of the things that Mr. President has been pushing. And let me give you one example that you can relate with. For example, now, in the Ministry of Interior, we have optimized one of the projects. That is Advanced Passenger Information System, wherein when criminals or people that have operational character want to come into Nigeria, before they arrived, the system picked them, they are flagged. Because the informations are collected at the point of, in fact, at the point of purchasing the ticket. They are screened through the Interpol database and other databases of people of interest. And before they arrive in Nigeria, the necessary security agencies are waiting for them. And as the Minister of Interior said recently, a lot of people have been apprehended through this system. That's one of the beauties of PPP. And these things were not done, and these things were done without a dime from the Treasury. I mean, I was coming in from London 2 weeks ago. I didn't see any immigration person talking to me. I just came in, dropped my passport on the e-gate, and I entered. In less than 3 minutes, I've crossed the gate. That is e-gate solution that we have at Abuja Airport now, which is the first phase. And not too long a time, it will launch in other international airports. This was done through PPP. This is the sweet experience that when you travel, you see citizens of other countries enjoy, like in UK. So Nigerians and other passports that queue. Citizens just go in there, drop their passport, and they enter. I'm surprised to see that in my country, Nigeria, I could just come in, drop my passport there, and within 2 minutes, I'm out. And this is the renewal agenda of Mr. President. And this is sweet experience that Nigerians were promised. And these were done without any money from the Treasury. So PPP has a lot of flavors, has a lot of things to offer for Nigeria. And we're saying that we are on the right track, we are following the right leadership, and with time, we will get to where we ought to be. And PPP is the vehicle to take us there. I, Dr. Jobson Ewalefoh, the Director General of the ICRC, is using this media opportunity to call on all Nigerians to support Mr. President in his desire to see Nigeria become the giant of Africa, to see Nigeria take its rightful place in the Community of Nations, in his desire to take Nigeria to the destination where we ought to be. We strongly support His Excellency, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in taking Nigeria to the rightful destination. We are ICRC, we are open for business. Nigeria is an investment destination.
And until we come your way again, same time, same station, I remain Anibit Akman. Keep watching Presidency This Week. Until next time, it's bye for now.